You are now listening to Carlie's Couch.
I'm Carlie.
And I'm Lex.
In this podcast, we discuss a wide array of topics about life and how to live your best life.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Hope y'all enjoy. Happy Monday, y'all.
Welcome to Carlie's Couch. Happy New Year. It is 2021. We are excited to... When did we start this? 2018? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going into our third year. Wait.
Yeah.
Fourth year?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but like our fourth calendar year.
Yes, fourth calendar year.
Okay, look, I had to get that math together.
I was wondering why you were counting for 3, but that makes sense.
I was like, okay, yeah.
So 2021, we made it. We're here, and if you're listening, you did too, so shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to you, because everybody didn't make it, and it was a crazy year, which, who knows? Honestly, like, everybody's like, oh, looking forward to 2021, but I'm thinking it could easily get crazier, but hey, we can stay optimistic.
Absolutely. And I feel like at the beginning of the year, that's what it is. It's optimism, is a chance to start over, to set intentions, to make resolutions, to do all of these things. And that's kind of what the episode is about today. So often people, go into new seasons and have these goals. And I always see and read articles and listen to podcasts about how to, manifest what you want and how to create this abundance in your life and do all this stuff. But I think a necessary step that is not talked about as much is clearing space to allow these new things, these things you're trying to manifest and you're working on in your life to actually come in and having space for them. So it's like you're carrying all these things in your hands, but you want more things. And it's like, well, got to clear some stuff out in order to make space for some new stuff.
Yeah, and have you noticed that it seems like the more stuff you start to let go of, the more things start to feel like they're more aligned anyway, or like going down kind of a more productive path. Productive as in, it's like, oh, you're getting opportunities that you actually wanted, not like you're trying to hold on to like, an old client or old project or something else that, you were already kind of complaining about anyway. So to clear out is important, just as important as identifying like what those things are that you want to be doing. But yeah, clearing it out just so you can actually give yourself the space.
Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that in my life, like whenever I let go of things, and like you mentioned, like trying to hang on to old clients or old relationships or friendships, whatever, it's like kind of blocking your blessings in a sense of what could be coming because you're focusing your energy and your time on these other things. And so that's what we're talking about today, is clearing out space, making room for things that you actually want in your life. Yeah.
So first of all, think about the things that you do want to happen this year, or, as you plan out your goals, however you plan them. And we've talked about this before. If you have interest in a new apartment, if you have interest in a new car, if you have interest in moving your work in a different direction, what does that actually look like and what does that entail? So already, be thinking about those things. I would say write a list, do your brainstorming, what do you call it? Mind mapping. Mm-hmm. We've talked about all these different things, all these different ways to think about and process what makes sense for you to get. So like make sure you have that in mind first. Because I think that it will make sense. For example, if you're thinking about the car you might want, it's like, all right, now you understand like, well, how much do I need to be making every month? Or I need to make sure I'm in a place where I can park my car or, whatever, all those little things that go with it. But it kind of gives you a little bit more clarity, first of all, on what space you do need to make.
Absolutely. And you can just get more clear on what you want. And I think as you get more clear on your vision and what you want, it also helps you get more clear on those things that don't serve you anymore, on the things that you don't want, the things that might be blocking this new car or this new job or this new whatever.
Mm-hmm. And so outside of just like things, what are some like categories or types of goals that you can kind of be thinking about?
So personal, that's where we always start, personal goals. So just getting more clear on what it is that you want, what brings you joy, on getting more joy, more adventure, like more of what you want for yourself in your life. So I think personal is an area that's important. Like, for example, something I want more in 2021 that started happening towards the end of 2020 is more creative projects. Like doing more creative things, bringing more creativity into my life, leaning a little bit harder into that. So that's something personally that I really want to work on.
Mm-hmm. And then another one might be with other people, like relationships or your giving back efforts or what you're doing within the community or within your groups and things of that nature as well. So whatever that looks like, I can think about the reasons why I may not have moved forward as much in certain places. And it might be I thought I didn't have time or, like there's always something, or I might not have had money or whatever it was. And so again, I feel like it's like, all right, well, now how do I clear out the time if that's something I really actually want? So of course we assess, how important is something really for you. But if you're assessing like how you're using your time, and then really think about how many of these things you don't actually want to be doing or don't have to be doing, now it kind of helps free you up. So we'll go through these different categories on like basically how to clean up in these different spaces.
And like Lexi said, it starts all with a self-assessment. Like, what is it that you do want? Get clear on that. Spend that time. We have a whole episode on goal setting, episode 44. But then we also have an episode at the beginning of last year, I think, where we did our planning through our passion planners. And we talked a little bit about planning and so getting started. So first figure out and kind of get clear on your goals. And then very much like with physical clutter in our lives, like thinking about those areas we can start to clean out in our lives. So let's just start with physical clutter. So looking at your space and getting rid of things that you don't want and that you don't need anymore. And what I'm doing is I'm donating a lot of my things. So I'm moving actually in the process. And so it gives me a great chance to unpack everything and take everything out of drawers, as I'm transitioning and looking at these things. Do I use this? Do I want this? Is this useful to me?
Mm-hmm. I read Marie Kondo's book. I think she had a show out too, but in the book, I really liked it because it gives you a good framework for where to start with physical straightening, cleaning, clearing things out of your home. So first attack the clothes, then attack drawers, then attack whatever else. So I really like that as far as a framework. If you just need to think about where to get started, I would look her up or look up somewhere like the blog post on her methods, etc. But then the other things about her methods is how easily it is to really determine if you want to keep something or not, because as you're literally touching each thing, and it's very much more Eastern culture based, in that you really think about how does this make me feel? When I pick up this article of clothing, do I feel joy? Does it make me feel good? If not, throw it away. If you haven't worn it in X amount of time, throw it away or donate it. And so I do this very often anyway. And a lot of times, I work with Daria, shout out D Lolo. And, when she'll get me some new clothes or whatever, I'm always going through and all right, I've had these for so long. I have stuff that I still wear that I have from high school. But some of them, if it's my favorite sweater, I'm going to keep it. But other things, it's why do I have this? And I also find that the more I start to clear out, the easier it gets too. Because at first it's kind of difficult because you're I might need this, I might need that. But as you start to take things out of your closet, out of your drawers, out of wherever, it gets real easy to just keep throwing stuff away. I don't wear this. This is cute, or I might still even have the tag on it or whatever. But it's I haven't worn this in a year, so what's the point? And it just clears up the space because, again, I haven't missed it. I haven't used it, so I don't need to keep it. So I would definitely look into Marie Kondo if you want any ideas or inspiration, because it really kind of makes you want to clean up too, about how to straighten up and declutter your home.
And I think that that's a trickle-down effect that actually works, is looking at all those, starting with your clothes, does it bring me joy? And then kind of looking at furniture and at different things. And as you remove things, you're able to refresh layouts. So maybe now you have more space in your bedroom and you feel more clear whenever you wake up in the morning. Another method, in addition to the Kondo one that I saw that I thought was pretty cool, is called the SIA method. And it's 5 questions. And it's, is this item sucking your energy? Is it excessive? Is it emotionally draining? Do you love it, or is it an eyesore? And I think that kind of goes with everything. It is in the same vein. Excuse me. And so I think your physical space is a very easy place to look to start to declutter and to get rid of things and create space.
But to go back to the point of the episode, though, how is this helping you when you're getting rid of things in your house and in your closet?
So in a very physical matter, if you look at your closet or your drawers and they're stuffed to capacity, if you go buy new things, you don't have anywhere to put them. You don't have any new space. You can't put them there. So now you have all this clutter sitting next to your dresser, flooding out of your closet. And I think that happens in our lives. Like, so clothing could be, like I said, a physical representation of many areas of our lives where we're holding on to things that don't bring us joy, that are draining us, that we don't need, that aren't serving us. And because we refuse to let these things go, there's other things piling up that we actually want and that can't be put in their place.
Also, I think sometimes we just don't get things because we already have one, but it may be that you like that better. So, like, for example, if you, like, my parents' sofa is from like 84 or something. I don't know. It's so old. They have this really old sofa. And it's like, well, if you just toss that, then, you know, when you see something, you can actually like justify like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. Versus sometimes you can be out and see like a cute shirt or cute something for your home or a cute something, but because you already have one, it's like, oh, I don't really want to get that. I don't need it. Whereas that could really be a game changer on your mood, on your place, or whatever too. So I think sometimes not being, just getting rid of this stuff first makes it easier when you do see something that catches your eye, even if you're not sure what that thing would be yet.
And another one, I just got really excited because I had this whole like metaphor for life the other day. I realized that I have all of these reusable bags that like I've been given. So like from a conference, from...
Oh, yeah, those are the worst.
Oh, my God.
And they just collect.
Exactly. And then you just have these bags and bags.
Collect.
And if you like me, you have grocery bags and bags. And so you just have all these damn bags.
Yeah,
and then
I
it's
start
like,
throwing grocery bags away, too.
Bruh. So I've had to start getting rid of things, but I realized, like, I wasn't buying. So, for example, even my suitcase, like, somebody gave it to me a long time ago. I haven't invested in a new suitcase because...
Ain't got nothing clean and new.
Bruh. And it was never mine. And I'm like, damn, how many things in my life am I holding on to that I didn't even want or didn't even ask for, but somebody gave me, but I'm holding on to just because... And it's like, oh man. And that's really like when I started thinking about like, what other things do I need to clear out? Like, how much shit am I carrying around?
Dog,
It's not
them
mine.
conference bags used to be like, for what, dog? And then they all were cheap. Like the words always scrape off and stuff, but you still keep them. Like, and then I'll still use them like for stuff. Like there's always something all of a sudden. But yeah, man, them conference bags, they be killing you with those. Jesus Christ. That is a fact.
So yeah. So how many things in your life are you holding on to that you just have been collecting that you don't need? And even if you do, is it like for me and my suitcase, that's not the suitcase I would pick. I need a new one. It's a little raggedy. The wheel kind of sometimes, but it works. And I'm like, but it's time to get a new suitcase, dog. And I'm hoping after the pandemic, like I'll be able to travel more again and want to get a new suitcase to help with that.
Same, because all the ones that I have are ones I just took from my parents. So I'll be like, every time I go home, I come back with some of their other stuff. But it's like, you're right, to your point. It's like, yo, this isn't really what I want or, you know, would buy. So it keeps you from thinking about the things you actually need to get when you have so much of other things in the house. Another space, of course, to declutter, clear out is your mind and your mental space. So I think a lot of this is, I guess I shouldn't say common sense, but, you know, it's kind of the backbone of everything we kind of talk about. To where maybe with the start of the year, try to take some time to specifically sit down and just, you know, kind of write a little more, think a little more through, you know, what were your feelings through the last year? What were some of your maybe mental blocks, things like that, just to kind of get it all down on paper so you can assess, all right, like I really have been thinking negatively around this or that or whatever, you know, and like just explore and see where you can maybe make a conscious effort to focus on a thing or try to work on clearing out a thing, meditating more in a certain space, something like that. Like we said, this is something we kind of can do throughout our lives and throughout the year, but maybe now is a really good time to go back and assess, you know, what you've been dealing with.
Because I've seen a lot of talk about manifesting abundance, like I am where the money resides, all these things. And it's like, okay, cool. Yes, you are. Are there, like, but what has kept you from being that in the past? And what are some things that you can let go, like in your beliefs around money, for example? If you really are working on manifesting more financial, like, abundance, more income, like what has been standing in the way, and doing some time or taking some time to do an assessment and really explore those things, and then looking at how you can do the work to then let go of those old narratives or those limiting mindsets.
And then I'm processing a lot of the emotions too that you may be carrying into the new year. If you find yourself very irritable or very reactionary, it may be that you're holding on to guilt, resentment, other things like that where you may need to take a deep dive in and process those to clear them out as well. So in all of those different spaces, again, I would say like think about just where you are and like what's bothering you, what feels good, and kind of seeing what you need to clear out from there, and try to make like an action plan to focus on clearing out those certain spaces.
Another area that we can look to declutter or to clear out is digitally. When's the last time you did like a digital cleanse and kind of went through and decluttered or reorganized? Like similar to how you would declutter your closet, like with all your files on your laptop or on your
Every day.
Oh yeah. Okay, so not me.
I keep no more than 10 what's on my desktop. I can't do it. But I'm one of those people also, and a lot of people probably like this, where I can't really start working until like I clear out like my desk space or like, my bed has to be made. And the same thing is like if I open my desktop and there's like a bunch of screenshots or pictures just from something maybe I was working on or doing, like before I start stuff, I have to like clear that out. Like if I have Carlie's Couch episodes there, like I have to put them on my hard drive and get them off my desktop. So I'm always clearing out at least like on the surface in that way for me.
That's awesome. So my desktop is good, but my hard drive, I probably should reorganize and do some stuff for that. But also like in my phone, like when I travel and I'm on the airplane, that's when I delete a lot of old photos and screenshots and things I don't really need or things that I saw. Yeah, I do that on the plane since I really haven't been on.
Damn, it's just from like 2014. I'm like, I'm just taking up space. Like, and then you have the cloud, but also I'm like, if I have this cloud space, but then I still always run out of space, I don't understand. But that's maybe just me being old. I don't understand how that all works all the way. But yeah, for sure. Like you'll go through, and then I always see all these old reaction pictures. I'm like, damn, I can still use this. But I even was deleting those too, because I had albums of like just random stuff. And I'm like, I don't need this. Old people and stuff. It's like, you don't matter anymore. It's like, just delete.
And so digitally cleansing your phone of those old photos, for me, I have a lot of nonsense in my notes. So like searching crazy words and deleting that shit that I might not need anymore. And then even messages for like people, like old people who I don't talk to or have since been removed from my life or whatever. And like just getting rid of those things. You don't need all that stuff on your phone and just clearing it out.
Yeah, I've done all those recently. Sometimes when you're like you said, on a plane or waiting for something, like if I'm just looking through my notes and I'll be like, all these old grocery lists are like, even if it's something like me being in my feelings, sometimes I look at it like, this shit dumb. Like, this don't even apply no more. I don't even feel like that no more. So I just like delete it because I don't know. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, why am I holding on to this? Again, with the clothes thing, same thing. It's like the more you start like deleting pictures, deleting notes, it gets real easy to just delete them out. And my text too, because I was like, man, I had so many unread texts that I was just like, let me just go all the way through and see who all these threads are. I just deleted them because for what? I don't talk to a lot of those people. So those are all good. Be sure to also like take some time to clear out the storage of your laptops. Like, I mean, this is just something to do anyway, but clearing out like the old videos and things that are within the applications, how they keep all those extra files, and just, I don't know, get everything started fresh. Make sure you have good storage space so that when you are working on something or when you have some project that comes up, it's like you don't have to worry about that at that point.
Also getting rid of apps and things that you no longer use. And I thought about this because they got me, y'all. I got charged for this random app and I was like, what is this? And I went in and I was like, man, I haven't used this shit in months. So you can actually report the charge and get taken off and then cancel or whatever. But make sure that you first clear out all those free subscription things you signed up for during the holidays. Go ahead and get those off of your account. And then also delete apps that you don't use. Like, why do you have all that stuff on your phone for no reason?
And then also digital going into the relationship, friendship category as well as I spend time sometimes just going through like my followers and connections on all the different platforms and just like, who is this? I don't even remember who these people are, and or they're not doing anything online, like they're not posting anything, or they're like saying something crazy or whatever. So it's just like, let me disconnect from some folks. And clear that out as well. Like make sure your timelines look like something you want to see. Make sure your home pages look like something you want to see, information you want to see. And I think that makes more space also for you to see the things you want to see, the news you want to see, the types of updates you want to see, and maybe opportunities or, et cetera. So there's a lot of junk that can just kind of crowd your your social media space. So I think it's good to delete those things as well, or people.
And that's huge. Like, some social media is something that most people get on every single day. And it's like, when's the last time you've actually cultivated your feed and made sure it was something you want to see? Like, how often do you pick up a book that you don't want to read? Well, if you're not intentional about how you're spending your time online, you could be unknowingly doing those same things and putting your energy towards stuff that you don't want. In that same vein, looking at your relationships and your friendships and seeing who doesn't need to be there or what doesn't bring you joy. You don't owe anybody anything. So making sure you're doing what's best for you when it comes to friendships and the people that you allow access to you. And that could just be better boundaries. It's not always just completely cutting people off, but making sure that their access to you is what you feel comfortable with and what's good for you.
Yeah, and an example of that could be, I'll use Damo, for example, in that as you move from a space of, okay, sure, you might be doing camera operating, but you want to be working as a DP, you're starting to get more jobs in a different space, it stopped making sense for him to cultivate, and maybe I shouldn't say cultivate certain relationships, but you didn't need to be in certain groups. You didn't need to go to certain meetings. Didn't need to talk to certain people all the time because they're not in the space that you actually want to do more work in or have more relationships in. And also, without saying like, oh, you're cutting us off to connect it to work, there may be friends or people that you're spending a lot of time with, but it's not necessarily effective in you in other spaces where you're really trying to focus. And so in backing up with some of the hanging out that you might be doing, this gives you more open space to network or to start conversations and make friends in different circles and with different people as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I'm cutting you off because of whatever. But as you grow and have different interests, there's new spaces for you to branch out into and build relationships in. So if something feels stale, if something just feels like, whatever, or you don't really want to hang out, or you don't want to, or if it is negative, of course, then, just kind of leaving it alone, or maybe scheduling time with them, but it's maybe less. Like maybe schedule like once a month to hit them up or to talk to them or hang out or whatever. And being just more cognizant of how much time you're spending and with who.
Because the saying is like you're the mix of like a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with or something like that. And so just evaluating and seeing if that is who you want to be and where you want to be.
Yeah, like if you have particular goals in a space, but then all the friends you hang out with are like totally not, you know what I mean? Like they have nothing to do with that or not aligned with helping you gain any skills that go with that. It's not that they're necessarily like bad people or it's a bad situation, but it doesn't necessarily make sense for you to spend all your time there.
So making sure you're prioritizing. And Lexi talked a little bit about Damo, and we've talked about his intentional journey to get to where he wants to be in his career. And so business is a huge place for you to make sure you're decluttering and making sure that your energy and your time is spent doing things that are in alignment with where you want to be and where you want to go. And so in your assessment, make sure that you have a list of like the commitments and all of the things that you're actually committing your time to business-wise and seeing where that falls with where you want to be.
Yeah, as a new business owner or small business owner, oftentimes you are taking on tasks or taking on clients that you take on because you need to take them on, or you feel like you need to, and make money, etc. Whereas you really are looking for a certain space, or you want to work at a certain level. And sometimes that's okay if that's still helping you to learn your systems and processes and, have a track record, things like that. But then it gets to a point where, like with me, for example, I'll have people who hit me up like, hey, I heard, somebody told me you helped them with their site. Can you do this and that? And it's like, nah, I don't do that. Like, we don't do that. Or even with social media, like if somebody's just like, oh, I'm looking for help with social media, it's like, nah, that's not really the focus, because there's so much more comprehensive pieces to the strategies that we develop now that sure, I could take something on, but I won't have nothing to show for it really. And it doesn't help boost anything for me or you really. And you can just grab somebody to be a contractor for however much an hour to post things, if that's really what you want. Like if I'm going to be a particular level of agency, then we're doing a particular level of work, and that's what we do. And so to have space for that, you have to be able to say no to maybe smaller projects or projects outside of the scope. And the young lady who had Carlie and I do the conflict resolution speaking thing in San Diego, like stuff like that. I was like, okay, it's a day, whatever, or 2 days. But then like if she, she sent me something the other day and it was like, what was it? Because she sent me 2 things. I sent one to Carlie because I was like, maybe. Oh, one was like to be an academic advisor for some government group, but it's like you got to be in Seattle 3 times a week and this and that. And I'm like, girl, I don't, for all the time that I can spend on my own stuff, I'm not about to go up there unless it was about to be like some money. But then she was like, oh yeah, it's like 35 an hour, girl. We can do this. I was like, girl, I charge 125 minimum an hour. Like this ain't, that's not worth it for me to do that. And it's not even in my space. So really like making sure you're not just taking those things on and or back to the actual like way that we're doing this episode, that you clear out those things. Because I've even had clients that I've lost or the contract was over and it actually felt like freeing. Because at first I was like, dang, all this, we're done with this client. But then it felt freeing because I'm like, yo, low key, I was doing a whole lot of complaining about certain things or their contract was for 40 hours and we was doing 100 hours and like, stuff like that. So it's like, okay, this is way better because it totally cleared me out to like really change a lot of things, which I really did very quickly. And now could take on the different types of things that made way more sense, like immediately. So don't even be pressed about losing opportunities and or saying no to those things because as long as you can be clear on what you do want, you can easily kind of fill up that space.
Mm-hmm. And it takes a level of bravery to actually like get clear on what you want and go for those things because it's easy to accept stuff that could work. It kind of fits. It's whatever. But all money is not good money. And time is your most important resource. So make sure you're spending those accordingly.
And projects fit into this too because even as recently as November when I was helping a friend, well, I remember journaling afterwards. I was like, man, I felt so drained. And it's like, I should say no even more often to my friends because nobody technically asked me like, oh, can you help me set up this event? But of course, and your friends doing things, it's like, you can help, you can do XYZ, you want to help. But I was like, man, I spent way too much time, working on something that wasn't even anything to do with me. And it, it just ended up draining me and like taking me away from some of the stuff I should have been focused on. So even with projects or helping people or things like that, it's like, if it's not fitting, like remove those types of commitments that you're making that you don't necessarily need to make.
Yeah, and they can be very beneficial for your friends or your community. But yeah, like I stepped down from board position because it just wasn't in alignment with where I am right now. Even though I can do it, like I can do a lot of things. I can pretty much do anything I put my mind to. But is that something that I really want? And it's like, actually, no, it's not really in alignment. So by taking that off my plate, I've cleared space for things that I actually do and that fit in a way that works with my schedule and with what I'm working towards also. And then the last area that there are plenty more we could talk about clearing space, but the last one we have for today and one I think is super important is energetically clearing space. And a lot of this, like clearing your physical space can definitely help clear up your energy and your mental space for more creativity. Getting rid of those toxic relationships can also help clear your energy. So all of these things feed into it, but very intentionally making sure that you're staying grounded, that you're meditating and taking moments of pause so that you can be clear in your head and then therefore move from this place of clarity with everything else in your life.
I'm trying to think of anything else I could add to the energetically. I would say kind of in this vein, but like you said, it kind of goes with everything. Energy is kind of like the backbone to a lot of this stuff. But when you're thinking about things you can clear, that may be things like picking your phone up first when you wake up, or maybe things like stuff that's keeping you from like sleeping well or, being in a good mood. Like just paying attention to when your energy shifts, or maybe this is something to journal about as well. It's like, when do you feel some kind of way, or like noticing, being more aware of like what things kind of maybe take you off your, out of your good space, and thinking about how you can clear some of that stuff out as well, which may be like your routine, and maybe people, and maybe the projects, etc. So I think maybe in all of these spaces too, you can kind of maybe list out like, what are the things you like least in those spaces? What things you like most in those spaces? And then, what can you kind of really clear out, and not being scared to just be bold and just be like, all right, I don't do this no more. I don't do that no more. And just starting to rock with it in that way. Like make rules for yourself, make new rules, new commitments to yourself that you can now start to follow.
I like that. And saying no and getting rid of things, like Lexi mentioned earlier, is just, it kind of builds and it starts to feel really good and then it just starts to flow. So as you're making these commitments to yourself, making sure you're getting what you need and what you want and that your energy is focused accordingly. Yeah, see what else you can clear out and then make sure you know what you want to bring in.
Yep. So we wish you the best as the new year starts. We hope that you do the most you can with the fresh energy that, we're all bound to have as the year starts. Feeling like you want to get clear on things, feeling like you really want to be gung-ho about particular things. So keep that energy, keep that momentum. Leave us a voicemail if you want to tell us about, anything you got going on with the new year, what you're planning on doing, things you learned from last year. The number is on the website on carliescouch.com. Feel free to leave us a review, 5 stars, so we can read some of those on our episodes. And then just, leave us comments. Let us know what you think about things. Let us know what's going on with you, because we like to do shout outs at the end. But sometimes we don't, we can't think of something, or we don't have, anything that's top of mind to report back. So we'd be happy to shout you out too if you have anything really cool going on that you want people to know about.
Yeah, hit us. Carlie's Couch on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of those things. And then this week's question of the week is, to what degree have I actually controlled the course my life has taken?
I don't know if the answer is a number, but I guess I would say 100% for the most part. The course my life has taken, yeah, with every situation I'm in, or everything I've done, or everything I haven't got done, I can 100% see like what I did in it taking that direction.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, I think it's choices, and I also see moments where like God or the universe or whatever else works some things out that I couldn't have worked out, or I don't know. So that's helped. But I think choices, like she said, pretty much guide the course that my life has taken.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other angle to that I can think of, but for the most part, I'm pretty good at that. Like seeing like, all right, where am I at, and like why am I here? And I could definitely be like, yeah, I did this, I didn't do that, I did that, and voila. So, which can be something that you use to disempower yourself, or you can use to empower yourself, which sometimes just reframing it, it's actually a very good way to empower yourself, because like, bro, like I can look at this month and it's like, I didn't do XYZ, and so nothing happened. And then I can look at this month, I did do XYZ, all these things happen. So it's like, it's right there in front of you what you need to do. And it's right there in front of you to show that you do have the option to do something, and that you do have the power to change things and, do your part. Even with things like the pandemic and so much going on, like there's a lot that you can maneuver, or there are a lot of things that you did or didn't do that helped you get through those positions. Even when the environment might be something out of your control. So for me, I can look at that and say, okay, I can do it, girl. You just not. And why not? So it kind of helps you to realize that you do have that power.
Yeah, I like that. Own your power and reframe your perspective. That's really the only things we can't control.
Yep. So happy New Year. Thanks for listening. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye, y'all.